So let me ask you a direct question before you go and take administrative action against him. CCM, did you have view of this documentation before it was brought?
Through the chair, I had a view, chair, and I think based on the volumes of documents that we have had to come with before Senate, I apologize to the Senate that there were mechanical errors with the machine that we were using, and it put us to this. We apologize.
So is it only one document? It was intentionally supplied to Chair Gay.
Through the chair, just a few of them, because the bulk of the documents are very clear.
Okay, let's come to the more substantive administrative action. CS was to speak to the ghost workers. I mean, this is a very interesting report, because if you go to Appendix 4, the first name on that schedule of list of 1,370 individuals without staff files in the county registry. Number 1 is Gladys Wanga, who I believe is a governor.
This is why I told you, this is why I called them the so-called.
Is that because you mentioned adversely that now this report cannot be implemented?
No, you could see that from there was a very mechanical process done by PwC that did not. This now gives you evidence. The reason why we had to review and look at an internal review of the documentation. When you went to look for the files, you may not have found a file for the governor because of the filing system at that time. But PwC took, even if you look at that document, CEC is a part of it. Even, you know, many people are part of that report. That is why we said, surely from this report, we must do a series of reviews. And that is why by the time it was March, we had written to say we did not have a ready report from PwC, given the reviews that we needed to do on that report. Thank you.
And that is why I was asking you, Governor, through the chair, whether you actually owned this report. Because if you commission PwC and you pay them $32 million to help you make sense of your HR issues, and then the first thing they do is capture you as a ghost worker, surely.
I wanted to make this clear, Chairman. I wanted to make this very clear because it might look laughing, but when we leave the Senate, our people back in Homa Bay take these things very seriously. This is a list of 1,370 individuals without staff files, not ghost, without staff files in the county registry. So, Chairman, it is important to be very clear on these issues because the Senate raises these questions, calls them ghost workers, the media picks them as ghost workers, and then we have to respond to them. But now when we have to respond to them, nobody will understand that these were 1,300 that did not have staff files.
I think that's a fair, fair one. Let's go to the 1,327 ghost workers.
But let me clear that, Chair. Let me clear that for the governor, so that we also not want to appear like we are setting up the governor with the people. Yeah. It is true that the Appendix 4 captures a list of 1,370 individuals who have not provided staff files. But the question remains, Governor, that I have paid PwC 32 million shillings to give me a report that will help me make sense of a messed up HR system in my office. And the kind of report that they give me is that the number one person who does not have a staff file in the county government of Homa Bay is a governor. And that's why I was very, very keen when I asked you whether you really owned this report, or you rejected it, or renegotiated even the amount that will be paid for that.
Okay, I think you've clarified it. CS, you are to talk to the 1,327 ghost workers.
Thank you, Chair. Very fast, because a lot of it has been said. I think the 1327 is actually not what is called ghost workers from our assessment, because there are several categories that we are capturing, like people without files, people with what, and you can find names are repeated in those. You can find somebody who is doesn't have a file, He didn't report, but in all those categories, their names were picked. So you can find a name picked in or at least sometimes 3 categories, 2 categories, or in 4 categories. But then when they're putting it together, then they put it, because they are just adding up, they're adding what is there and what is there, and then it came up with that number. But when we now went down to do our own verification, we realized that these names were repeated. And that's why we didn't say that those are ghost workers. Actually, those are not ghost workers.
Chair, can you stop the county secretary, because he's now working into a landmine? Because the more he talks, the more everything gets messed up. Therefore, 32 million, governor, that was contracted to PWC, there was no value. Because even your county public service board sat and wrote you a letter on what should be done. In this report, the one that you are provided, either you are saying the PricewaterhouseCoopers report was a draft. Because if you are hiring to make a sense of the 55% that you are spending on what you are putting now, 7,000 plus workers, then it is getting more messed up than in the beginning. Because the chairman of County Public Service Board has provided once the implementation status of PWC. The governor has gone on record and said, when we got this report, we had to contest to amend, to do a few years there, massages a few years to be politically correct. So my question should be, Governor, in this 32 million, in my own opinion, the people of Homa Bay did not get value. You did not come out to tell us whether the public service of Homa Bay of 7,000 plus who work in your county government, whether there was value that was given. And that is why, Chair, I want to go back to my first question. The justification of the governor of using PricewaterhouseCoopers over Public Service Commission. Yet there is what we call intergovernmental relationships that they can partner, because even if they disagree, the spending of the money would not have been, at least would have been enough. But on this 32 million, Chair, I think, to me, looking at the chairperson of County Public Service Board and the minutes that the County Public Service Board sat, Governor, we are getting more and more confused, and we do not see the value of 32 million in this PricewaterhouseCoopers engagement that you did, even including the one I had pointed out on the administrative action on other matters.
Okay, let me, for purposes of time, there is a report by PwC, which we are interacting with for the first time, because as at March, it was not ready. And that is why we gave generic recommendations of administrative action. Now the Senate is seized of the report. We have it. There is also a report by the Auditor General on a payroll audit for Homa Bay County, which I think has been tabled. It has been tabled in Parliament.
Yes, Chair, it was tabled.
We need to look at these 2 reports, the payroll audit report, the PwC audit report, the report that we are considering now, and as someone who comes from Homa Bay, spending 52% on compensation of employees it's a serious problem, and it is a legacy problem. I think Governor is dealing with an inherited problem that has festered over the years. Whether 32 million was value for money